and from dozens of wonderful people donating their time for free, just to
Yes.
as a public service. And not only that, all of our shows over all these 9 years or so are archived and available on demand for you at WHUPFM.org. We are thrilled to have our friend J.T. Cobb here in the studio. J.T., welcome back.
Thank you.
And we're going to talk about this fantastic new release, Red Wheelbarrow, here in a minute. But we always like to jump in and start with a song. Looks like Bob's coming over to do some final tweaking of the microphones. And JT, whatever you'd like to play, we'd love to hear.
All right, this one's been on my mind all day, so let's start out of the gate with this. This is called Man I'd Like to Be. He was a straight man, he was a good man, was the kind of man who held out his hand. Everyone around him said, I'm here to help you. All his life, he was that kind of man. He could walk, man, he didn't say much. Wore no shoes on his feet. Even in the winter, sleeping on the cold ground. Was a man who had come to sow his seed. Straight up and righteous, oh praise the Lord, praise the Lord. You can't eat the apple of his tree. He was a straight man, he was a good man, was the kind of man I'd like to be. Down in the valley where he did wander, up into the hills of Arkansas, over through Kentucky, back to Indiana, was the only way he knew to heed the call. He was a strong man, but he wouldn't hurt a fly. He came to preach the words of Swedenborg, and he bore witness to the earth beneath his feet. There was no one there to hear him but the Lord. Straight up and righteous, oh praise the Lord, praise the Lord. You can't eat the apple of his tree. He was a straight man, he was a good man, was the kind of man I'd like to be. The trees did blossom, and the birds of the air did sing his name. He was not lonesome, though he walked his path alone. He had all the life that one man can claim. Straight up and righteous, oh praise the Lord, praise the Lord. You can't eat the apple of his tree. He was a straight man, he was a good man, was the kind of man I'd like to be. Was the kind of man I'd like to be.
Whew. I feel like I need to be in church. J.T. Cobb, y'all.
Awesome. Fun song. Tell us about that one.
Well, that one, the lore in my family on my mother's side, the Chapmans, is that we're related to Jonathan Chapman, who's better known as Johnny Appleseed. And he was he actually existed. He wasn't just a Disney
real
figure.
person?
Yeah, and he was kind of an itinerant preacher, and he traveled all over the Appalachians and all out into the Midwest planting apples. So I wrote that song about him, but the whole "Man I'd Like to Be" part is sort of referencing my grandfather Chapman.
Nice.
Nice. So how recent is this song?
It's a really old. It's a fairly old song. I actually played it at the service for my grandfather for his funeral, and I happened to be at a memorial service today for a friend's father who was also the type of man I'd like to be. So it's sort of been on my mind.
Nice.
Very nice.
Well, Bob, I met JT over at the Come Out and Play Sculpture Show. I think it's probably 2 years ago.
That is a fantastic place.
Was taken by his wonderful music, and that place has been going since 9/11. They started
Right.
an arts thing, mainly sculptures, large, beautiful sculptures, to help local artists, and then I met them several years after, and we've been bringing some music down there ever since, and we hope that we'll be able to do that again this year.
Yeah, it's a fantastic event.
It's just a great place out there, Jones Ferry Road, out near Frosty's.
Yeah.
Just wonderful. You're not too far away from everything, but you're out in the country.
About 5 miles south on Jones Ferry of Carborough on the left.
Yeah.
Wild Horse Run, I think it's called, and Jim Farm is the place. Well, JT, thank you so much for sending me this beautiful CD, and I spent a good bit of time looking at the very cool little book. And tell us about the music. This is a compilation of, what do we have? 12 songs,
12 songs,
and
yeah.
written over what period of time?
Boy, probably the oldest one may be 30 years old. And the newest one I wrote actually as I was doing the album. So it spans a pretty good while.
And you were privileged to work with Mr. John Shane on this.
I was, and I appreciate you were the one who pointed me to John as somebody who could produce this. And yeah, fantastic. He's a great producer, contributes some guitar parts to it as well, which is fantastic.
Well, for people who don't know, and we're going to dive into this a lot more, so real quickly, it's how does it start when you meet a producer? What's the first step that happens? Say, well, I have these songs, and what do they say to you?
Well, he basically wanted to know kind of how serious I was about it and how I wanted to approach it. And I'm very serious about it. I've been writing for a long time. I wanted to get stuff down in a good form, and hopefully this won't be the last time. But so I actually spent a number of months with him before we went into the studio, just kind of looking at the songs and thinking about how we might shape them, do some things to bring them out a little bit more. So he was really familiar with the songs by the time we got into the studio, and we'd done a lot of work before that point.
Great. Well, we're going to jump on that train a little bit later in the show, but right now we're here. Bob?
And just before we jump into the next song, I don't know if you know this person. Sela says, "Hi, Dada."
I'll claim her. That's my daughter, Celia. Yeah, who sometimes plays with me. I wish I need to convince her to play with me more often.
Yeah,
Wow.
we'd love to have her here in the studio.
Absolutely.
All right.
Maybe next time.
She heard it, so maybe I'll be able to get her here.
All right, let's go ahead and hear a song.
So this is the first song off of Red Wheelbarrow. The album is called "Song of Joy." Spring green lawn after the rain, lying in bed, feeling no pain as the last drops fall from the oak leaves onto the hot tin roof. I got nothing to do today, and I don't think I would anyway. And if you don't think there's something bigger, well, here's your proof. 'Cause this is my song of joy, a full-grown man feeling like a little boy, and make the world my oyster for today. That makes you my pearl, so climb beside me, let's go for a whirl. Not lose a chance for life to feel this way. So weak I had to drain my soul, wore me out, made me feel old, and I don't think I ever care to repeat it. That's behind me and I won't look back. No need to dwell on what I lack. Just stand me up any monster and I'll defeat it. 'Cause this is my song of joy, a full-grown man feeling like a little boy, and make the world my oyster for today. That makes you my pearl, so climb beside me, let's go for a whirl. Not to lose a chance for life to feel this way. 'Cause too many times all we feel is a burden,
went wrong, everything that's hurting inside. Sometimes you just gotta enjoy the ride. Years from now, when my light fades, hope I look back on today and feel the thrill of life rush right through me. Look in my eyes and you will see a man standing in the light of freedom, and let that be the way you always knew me. 'Cause this is my song of joy, full-grown man feeling like a little boy, and make the world my oyster for today. That makes you my pearl, so climb beside me, let's go for a whirl. Not lose a chance for life to feel this way. Not lose a chance for life to feel this way. Never lose a chance for life to feel this way.
That was tasty. J.T. Cobb live here on Pass the Hat.
And that is the first song
That is the first song, yeah.
of this beautiful CD, Red Wheelbarrow. JT, I have the CD in front of me, and on the liner notes on the back it says Red Wheelbarrow, which is the fourth song in the offering. It says after William Carlos Williams. Tell us about that.
Right. Well, this kind of is a two-part story. One is I often sit in my living room in the morning while I'm thinking about things and writing stuff, and straight out the window beside the garden fence is a red wheelbarrow that's been leaning there for years. And I'm thinking, yeah, I need to write something about that. And then there's this William Carlos Williams poem that that many people may have encountered in their high school English class or something like that. I believe it goes, so much depends upon a red wheelbarrow glazed with rainwater beside the white chickens. And that's it. But it's very like sort of powerful image. Mm-hmm. And I love that image. And then there was a story behind the wheelbarrow, and I just sort of put them together to make that song.
I like it.
The artwork on this CD jacket is beautiful. Have a really cool painting of a red wheelbarrow on the front, and then another painting of sort of a farm scene on the back. Tell us about the artwork.
Yeah, so when I decided that's what I wanted to name the album, took the song and made it the album title. I have a good friend, Rogelio Calvo, who's a Panamanian painter, lives over in Statesville, and he plays the guitar. He's a big fan of one of the songs on the album, Bigger on the Inside. And so I thought of him and reached out to say, would you be willing to paint something for the cover of this? And he said yes, and he painted like 5 or 10 things for me to choose from. That's the one I chose for the cover, but inside there are also some of the other treatments he did of a red wheelbarrow, and I feel just very fortunate. He's a fantastic artist, professional artist, and he...
Well, the actual painting itself, from which the cover is derived, do you know how large that painting is?
I haven't actually seen it in the flesh yet. Yeah. He sent me Instagram photos of it, so I don't actually know how big it is.
It's neat, though. It uses that kind of artwork, Bob. Well, you have a copy yourself there where sort of the paint is layered on, mm-hmm. and kind of, I love that kind of approach.
It kind of blows my mind that you said he was Panamanian. Anyway, when I first picked this up and looked at it, I got this weird Central America vibe.
Oh, wow.
And if I look at it and study it in any detail, there's nothing about it that is Central American, but that's just the vibe I got when I picked it up.
There you go.
It's weird.
Yeah. Well.
It is, but yeah, it is a fantastic painting and a fantastic cover.
Great distinctive style, and I've got links to his Instagram in there and on the website and everything. People should definitely check him out. He's a great artist.
Excellent. So speaking of this CD, your website, jtcobb.com, is that one place we can get this, or what's the easiest way?
If you go to jtcobb.com, then you go to jtcobb.com/Red Wheelbarrow, and that'll get you to a page that talks all about the album. It's got all the links to the streaming sites on it. Right now, if you want to get a physical copy, you just got to drop me a note, and we'll work out getting that to you. I haven't got all the e-commerce engine set up for it or anything. But,
So you don't happen to be on Bandcamp, do you?
I'm not on Bandcamp at this point, yeah.
Because it is Bandcamp Friday, y'all. Go buy all the merch.
Well, it's possible that if you go to the album release show at the Eno House Artist Den on June 8th, there might be CDs
You
there.
can definitely pick up a copy of the CD there. So yeah, June 8th at Eno House Artist Den.
A great show. It's a great venue. I have fallen in love with the Eno House. It is
a
fantastic.
fantastic venue, yeah.
We'll remind you of that a little bit later, but we're here to get as much fine music as we can.
All right, well, I'll just move
That's
on.
on you.
I'll move on to the second song on the album, then, which is $1 to a Pound, which I also released as a single before the album. Used to sit out of an evening, maybe have a beer. Since you're gone, there's not much going on. It seems like less and less every year. Sadie says she's not lonely. I don't know if that's true. 'Cause every time that I look in her eyes, I see reflections of you. Tell me, how does one so young become so wise? La la la, while the rest of us barely manage to survive. Or sing a song of sixpence, turn $1 to a pound. Rain falls on 20 acres, disappears without a sound. There's a time and a season, they're not easily discerned. It's winter's hand holding ending, or the hope of your return. Tell me, how does one so young become so wise? La la la, while the rest of us barely manage to survive. Now it's had a plan that would lift me out of here. I fear my destination grows increasingly unclear. Sadie says she's found Jesus, and the Lord will ease her load. I still sit out of an evening, staring blankly down the road. Tell me, how does one so young become so wise? La la la, while the rest of us barely manage to survive. How does one so young become so wise? La la la, while
us barely managed to survive.
That guitar just rings out and rings out and rings out.
So I was looking at that, and I believe that's a Larrabee guitar.
It is a Larrabee guitar, yeah.
And originally from Toronto, and then he moved over to Vancouver back in the 70s and 80s, I think, Jean Larrabee, and now have moved down to California. But how long have you had
I
that?
didn't realize he was in California now. I've had it for about a year.
Yeah.
And I just recently I did a bunch of work done to it, so I've just gotten it back recently. I'm kind of excited to have it. It's kind of,
Who
I
did
think it's
the-
got a really nice tone to
Who
it.
did the work?
Christopher Royce over in Raleigh.
Nice.
I've never come across him, but he does good work.
Excellent.
It is a fantastic sounding guitar.
I love it.
Well, JT Cobb, you had indicated that you've been writing songs for a long time before you intersected with John, and but what caused you to think you were going to write a song in the first place way back when?
Boy, that's a darn good question.
Yeah, why the heck do you do this?
Yeah, why do any of us do this? Back in the day, I was a drummer. That's how I started out as a musician.
That's why you have such good rhythm on that guitar.
Good timing.
And to the extent I got it, that's probably why I got it. But eventually, and even when I was in a band as a drummer, I aspired to write. So I would write some, but I didn't know how to play to it. So I was dependent upon other people to put it into music for me, which was always a little frustrating. So when I finally couldn't have the drums anymore, I got much more serious about guitar and started writing my first decent songs probably in my 20s.
You gave us a little insight on the ideas of your songs, but does this magic happen in any one way? Do you have like an emotional feeling, or you've seen something, or you have some chords that you're messing around with, or there's this phrase like a hook? People call it a hook.
Yeah.
And or for you, how does it work?
I'm big on starting from a hook. Like usually something comes to me that is the if it's not going to be in the chorus, it's going to be somehow central to the song, and then writing from there. And I get a lot of inspiration sort of in that direction from like poets and writers. My background is in literature, so that's how I end up using William Carlos Williams and other stuff like that as inspiration for songs.
So you have the hook, the inspiration, you get it started, and then you've sort of roughed it out and it's perfect, or there's a process. There's a process of change.
Yeah, there's definitely a process of change. Some of these songs I'm playing now, I played here, when I was here before, and they've changed over that time period just because I've sort of picked up new ways to, new intonations, or just little things to do on the guitar,
Sure.
or just all of those things that sort of mature over time, which is
That's one of the things we like to watch here on Pass the Hat is when people come back is watch those songs evolve.
Yeah.
Because I personally think songs should evolve.
Yeah.
And if it's the same song being played the exact same way 5 years later, that something feels weird about that to me. I want to hear it growing like anything should grow. But backing up just a little bit, you opened the show with a song about your grandfather. Mm-hmm. And we know that you were a drummer originally in your musician career. But did you come from a family of musicians? I don't think we quite got to Kirk's question about why the heck do you write songs?
Yeah. I do not come from a family of musicians, other than, both my parents liked music, so I heard a lot of music, when I was younger. And I think I just sort of fell in love with music. I fell in love with words, and to a certain extent, it's like, why wouldn't I write a song?
Yeah, I guess once you become that literary person who's in love with words, poetry and songwriting just kind of come naturally, I suppose.
Yeah, and songwriting was the better vehicle for me. I have tried my hand at poetry some in the past. My wife is a very, very good poet. I am not such a good poet, but somehow I can write songs okay.
This is dangerous ground I'm entering, but have you ever considered taking one of her poems and turning it into a song?
It has been a point of discussion that maybe we should write a song together.
Yeah.
Which we need to do at some point. I've not actually tried to take one of her poems and put it in a song. I would ask her permission before doing that.
You would.
I was going to suggest not asking permission. But I'm single.
Well, it requires probably a special kind of relationship to go dive into that
For sure.
waters. But that would be kind of cool to see how that turned out.
I think it will happen eventually. Just hasn't quite yet.
Well, before the top of the hour, we have time probably for one more song.
All right. Well, we'll stick in the poetry vein. This is another one inspired by a poet. In this case, Philip Larkin, who's kind of he's an English, kind of. I think of him as sort of a curmudgeonly poet, and this is my kind of imagining a day in his life, sort of, kind of a bit of a Beatles theme, going back there and taking a few words from one of his more famous poems called Spring, which starts with the phrase green-shadowed people. So give this a try here. Morning he wakes, and he has a cup, takes a smoke and then looking up, thinks about a life never was, tries his best to understand the cause. Sunlight's the balls that bounce, the dogs that bark, as he makes his way across the park. And you can't say he's less deceived as he writes the branches on to the trees, where he sees green-shadowed people sit and walk in rings. Their children say 1,000 things. Nothing makes any sense. I miss my innocence. Stops into a church along the way to see what the silence has to say. Struggles in his soul, hear the sound, the spirits, the silence all around. Back on the path he pictures walking on. Whatever happens soon enough is gone. That's the world will say, is that he tried to take his chance down the long slide, where he sees green-shadowed people sit and walk in rings. Their children say 1,000 things. Nothing makes any sense. I miss my innocence. Night he goes to pub and he has a pint, thinks of all the things he's left behind. Drop them somewhere on the road that never lightened up the load. Morning he wakes and he has a cup, takes a smoke and then looking up, thinks about the way life goes past, flashing like a dangled looking glass, where he sees green-shadowed people sit and walk in rings. Their children say 1,000 things. Nothing makes any sense. I miss my innocence. Oh Lord, it's just green-shadowed people sit and walk in rings. Their children sing a million things. Nothing makes any sense. I miss my innocence.
JT Cobb, live here on Pass the Hat, winding up our first 30 minutes of the live portion.
Everybody, we are WHUP LP Hillsboro. The show is Pass the Hat. The website is WHUPFM.org, and if you go on there, there will be a donate button.
Click it.
And we are in our fundraising season, and we really could use your help to keep all of this fine programming moving forward. We are an entirely volunteer organization, dozens and dozens of us giving of our time every week, and it is not inexpensive to support an operation like this with all the licensing and the electricity and the rents and things like that. And now is the time for you to help prop us up.
And we do have sponsors. And support for this second hour of Pass the Hat is sweetly provided by Matthew's Chocolates. Hey, JT, you see that brown box in front of you?
That's a beautiful brown box.
Sweetly provided by Matthew's Chocolates, 104 North Churton Street, Hillsboro, North Carolina, the finest in chocolate and chocolate accessories for all of your chocolate needs. And let's face it, we all have chocolate needs. Matthew's been over there busily making all kinds of chocolate. If you need gifts for Mother's Day, go over there and place your order today, tomorrow. Better do it soon.
Better do it soon.
Better do it really soon. But there is a fair amount of chocolate in the case right now, so now would be a very good time. And thank you, Matthew, for sponsoring this second hour of Pass the Hat.
All of our shows here at WHUP are archived on the website, WHUPFM.org. Hit shows, scroll down. If you scroll down far enough, you'll find Pass the Hat.
It's alphabetical.
We've been here 9 years. We have over 1,000 shows out there, but not just that. Over the last 5 years, we have moved into a multimedia experience. Bob, tell people about that.
That's right. We live stream every show. You can find the live streams on your favorite streaming services, and your favorite streaming services are YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Twitch keeps those live streams for 2 weeks, so it's rather ephemeral, but a great platform for watching the live streams. YouTube and Twitch, however, keep those live streams forever so far. So you can be watching the live stream now, and then when it's over, you can go out and search down through the channel of all of the live streams and see 5 years worth of full 1 hour live streams of in-depth music and interview with just the whole pantheon of Piedmont, North Carolina live music legends. We've got another one here in the studio today, and this is just what we do every Friday evening. So join us, go check out the live streams, and as Kirk said, find the website, WHUPFM.org, and hit that donate button, y'all.
If you want to see the videos, at Whoop Ass the Hat, WHUP, PASSTHEHAT.
Whoop Ass the Hat, y'all.
JT Cobb here live in the studio. We're enjoying this time tremendously. JT, we had paused our discussion of how one puts together a fine record like this, and you had shared with us that you met producer John Shane. You spent some time before you even got into the studio. You shared a bunch of songs with him. You came to terms about what songs you'd like to work together on. Then I believe you said then you discussed how treatments might happen and things like that. But now we find ourselves walking into the studio for the first time. You were there. Our friend F.J. Ventry has Good Luck Studio.
That's right, yeah.
And so you went into Good Luck Studio on the first day. And what happened? What do you do when you get there?
Well, first off, Good Luck's fantastic studio. FJ's a great engineer, and it's played such a key part in both playing on and engineering this record. But yeah, I mean, you go in, and of course, I think musicians know this, or those who've recorded before. Like, you're not going in and just like setting up with the band, or setting up a mic on your guitar and on your voice and just playing it. No, you're separating everything out. So, I spent the first couple of days laying down the guitar tracks, and then after that, laying down the vocal tracks over top of them, and then you start bringing in other musicians. John plays some wonderful guitar parts on some of the songs. FJ plays bass and percussion on many of the songs. Bill Newton, I've played Dollar to a Pound and Song of Joy so far. He played a harmonica on both of those songs, and just wow! I mean, he's such
amazing.
a fantastic harmonica player. He also plays on one other song that I'll play here tonight. I sort of feel naked now without Bill around though, playing those songs with me.
When we sat at home and listened to this and heard the harmonica, and I had this, so I knew it was Bill. Probably would have known it was Bill. Thought it is so. He's so melodic on the harmonica,
yeah.
and textured, and it's just a thrill to listen to that.
Yeah, I'm more of a Bob Dylan kind of. That's about the
Wail away.
Yeah, the best I can manage on my own. So it's great to have him. And then we had other musicians contribute, like Green Shadow People that I just played. Alice, his last name I'm blanking on right at the moment. Played.
Hessen.
Yeah, played some nice violin on that, which went really well with that number. You played Cheap Philosophy Book, Bob, before
That's
we
right.
started, and Doug Hammer on the piano on that. Alan
Brought in Robert Cantrell.
Robert Cantrell played some percussion.
How
And he'll
about
be John and Robert and FJ will all be at the House show with me, playing with me. So
Oh, wow.
And
that's
our
gonna be a
friend
really fun
Isabel
show.
Valls did a little background vocals.
She did some fantastic background vocals. Yeah. So
There you go.
It was it was an amazing group of musicians to be able to work with. I feel very privileged.
Well, that just sounds like a ball.
I think that's one of the benefits of Good Luck Studio and what they bring to the table. It's
Yeah.
just these relationships with all these fantastic
Yeah.
musicians, and they hear what sound you're trying to get, and they'll pull in musicians that will augment that sound, and it's just a great experience.
It's amazing to watch. FJ just has this so nailed, and you watch the different parts come in, and he's compiling them there and playing. As it builds, and you hear how the song is building, and it's like alchemy. I mean,
There is some magic involved.
yeah.
Well, we don't have all those people here tonight, but we do have you here, and can't wait to hear what you have for us next.
Yeah, I do my best on my own, so I'm going to pick the tempo back up a little bit. This one is called "Let's Just Face It."
Oh, let's just face it, I want you. I can't seem to get you off my mind. Say it once again, now I need you. Greater treasure I shall never find. Oh, let's have done with it, gotta have you. I can't make it any plainer, dear. What I really mean to say is I love you. After that, there's nothing left to hear. Oh, many like to talk about their great big love. I know it's true, but I wouldn't sing this song, waste your precious time, if I weren't fundamentally, philosophically, deep down to the bones in love with you. So let's just face it, I want you. I can't seem to get you off my mind. Say it once again, now I need you. Greater treasure I shall never find. Oh, let's have done with it, gotta have you. I can't make it any plainer, dear. What I really mean to say is I love you. After that, there's nothing left to hear. Oh, many like to talk about their love as something only death will part. But I wouldn't make that claim, raise my lonesome pen, if it weren't so indelibly, sentimentally written on the pages of my heart. So let's just face it, I want you. I can't seem to get you off my mind. Say it once again, now I need you. Greater treasure I shall never find. Oh, let's have done with it, gotta have you. I can't make it any plainer, dear. What I really mean to say is I love you. After that, there's nothing left to hear.
JT Cobb turning up the heat a little bit here in the studio. You have in the phrasing of my people, where are you people from? Where are your people from?
Well, originally England, but then the South. So I grew up in North Carolina, and all my recent grandparents and great grandparents and such are from North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland area.
Piedmont, foothills, mountains, down east.
Well, I grew up in the Piedmont. I had grandparents who were in Boone for most of growing up, and grandparents up in the Tidewater in Virginia.
I think the reason I ask is the first verse of that chorus is "Let's have done with it," and then an earlier song had the whole concept of sitting on the porch of an evening.
Yeah,
and those two phrases, "have done with it" and "of an evening," are things I never heard here in the Piedmont, but I heard as a teenager. I spent a lot of time up around Boone, and that was just how people talked up around Boone. So I was wondering if you had that kind of Appalachian background.
Completely unconscious. If that's probably where I picked up that kind of language.
Right.
But yeah.
But at least in my ears, it was coming through as, there's some Appalachian background here. Of course, the song you opened up the show with was had kind of a Appalachian gospel music kind of a feel to it as well.
Yeah. And some of that I have no idea where I get. I guess just from,
osmosis, just kind of soaks in.
Yeah.
JT Cobb here in the studio. Learn all about him at jtcobb.com. We had mentioned a little earlier that there is a big event coming up June 8th at the Eno House Artist Den right down the hill from here. And what time of day?
I think the doors in that open at 6:30 and shows at 7.
And does one pay to go to this?
There is a fee. Kept it low. That was just $10 for a ticket to get in there. Yeah.
Fair enough.
So if you just Google Eno House,
Google
you
Eno
can
House,
find
or you can
events there.
You can go to jtcobb.com/Eno and it'll put you on the Eno
you can
House
find a
page.
link straight there, and then you can buy your tickets and get it. And y'all, if you haven't been to the Eno House before, it is fantastic.
It is. Whether you come to see me or not, go there to see a show because it's just great.
It is an old Methodist church. The Methodist church was decommissioned, but picked up by a Methodist church a few miles south.
Yeah.
Rich Greenway, who is the pastor down at that church, manages this church and decided that turning it into a music venue between him and Bill West would be a fantastic thing, and it has turned out to be a fantastic thing. And you can stop by wherever you want to stop by, grab some food, grab a bottle of wine, bring it with you. You can set it up on the table, and you can just have dinner theater right there at Eno House and check out JT Cobb there. It's going to be a great show.
Well, he picked a great partner in Bill West because Bill has been doing this sort of thing for many, many years.
It's working out very well.
Awesome. Well, JT, want to get as much music in as we can, so if you'd be so kind.
Do another sort of upbeat one. This is one of the ones that Bill Newton played on that I miss him on, but I still do a decent job on it myself. So this one's called Wonderland.
You got some kind of looking glass logic. It's got me all wrapped up inside. I can't understand all your contradictions. I think your words are somewhere you'd like to hide, but I won't go there, I won't do that. This ain't no wonderland. If you love me, just say you love me. It's a thought that my heart can understand. You'd like to call me a little Humpty Dumpty. You'd like to make me your precious dormouse. You'd like to take me right through the looking glass. I don't plan to let you back in the house, 'cause I won't go there, I won't do that. This ain't no wonderland. If you love me, just say you love me. It's a thought that my heart can understand. I think we've both had too much illegal substance. Things we say make very little sense. I don't care if our love's an oxymoron. Giving in to me is your only defense. 'Cause I won't go there, I won't do that. This ain't no wonderland. And if you love me, just say you love me. It's a thought that my heart can understand. I won't go there, I won't do that. This ain't no wonderland. And if you love me, just say you love me. It's a thought that my heart can understand.
Or JT Cobb live here in the studio.
JT, you said that these songs on this record had encompassed 30 years or so, but that one was happened like right when you were doing this. Had you started the project and then you wrote a song, or what was really? And so were you thinking you needed one more, or what happened?
No, I actually had plenty. Like we were, you spent part of the time with John was kind of culling down and figuring out which ones we really wanted to focus on and keep. So I definitely wasn't planning on adding anything. I didn't want to add anything, but they came along and I just decided it needed to be on there. So.
Wow, that's cool.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
What? Pardon me. There's something in my eye. JT, we talked a little bit about why you write songs generally, and we got kind of an answer we kind of expected is, I don't know, I just write songs. That's kind of the answer we get from everybody. Lots of folks, they don't really have an origin story of this thing happened and that's why I write songs. It's something they do, and it just is part of their being. This is what I do. It's just I write songs. But what about individual songs? Where does that muse happen? What motivates you for a particular song? Where does that inspiration come from to write it down, to turn it into a song?
Yeah, I do one thing that I think probably most songwriters do is just like you're constantly writing things down, whether it's in a notebook or on, like I have
ideas,
scrolls and scrolls and scrolls on my phone of little ideas I've written down. So I've always got that I'm reviewing, but things that I specifically do to try to spark ideas and bring things about is I've had this ritual. In fact, I think I talked about it the last time I was on the show, and I'm happy to say I'm still doing it, where I get up every morning and I listen to 2 or 3 songs. If for people, I try to find new people like all the time, like not just go back to the same stuff. It's one of the nice things. There are plenty of evil things about Amazon and all the other algorithms, but those algorithms can help you surface, new stuff too, which has been very nice. So I've listened to hundreds and hundreds of new writers over the last several years that I'd never heard before, singer-songwriters, and I'll just take that and sort of, it helps to spark the engine a little bit, and then spend at least 15 or 20 minutes writing. And I do that just about every morning, which I've found has really changed my songwriting. And then when I'm stuck on that, I'll pick up a volume of like collected poems or something like that, and just read that for a little bit until something strikes me out of a poem. And that's where a lot of my But I say all that, and then probably my best songs come just because I'm walking down the street and suddenly it's like that was it.
Boom, song. It's interesting. I was reading a story recently about the Coen brothers and making films. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, Fargo, Paris, Texas might have been. Anyway, all these iconic films that they put together, and that they go into writing a film without a screenplay. That they just have ideas for scenes, and they'll come up with this idea for a scene, and so they'll have 100 ideas for scenes, and kind of try and fit them together. And then once they have the flow of the scenes, then they try and come up with a story that makes sense to weave in there. And I immediately thought about songwriting. Is probably how a lot of people write songs. Is, as you said, you're writing ideas down all of the time, and that over time you build up these whole big bundles of either ideas for songs or turns of phrases that are really nice, and they start kind of whether intentionally or not, forming themselves together into songs.
Yeah, and I've made it a practice to make myself go back and look at things I've written before, because I'll find that, this group of words that I wrote here actually go really well with that group of words that I wrote 5 months ago over here, and it starts to come together.
Yeah, and sometimes that just gives you that spark, that idea of, oh, now there's a story that weaves through these ideas.
Yeah.
I like this concept. I've never been a songwriter, but I like studying it.
You understand the process tremendously. Maybe after 9 years of
It's slowly soaking in. Well, now I'm going to have to learn how to play a guitar. That's going to be terrible. I apologize for all y'all's ears. JT, can you play us another song?
Yeah, in fact, I'll play that mythical song that we've been talking about that got written during the process, because
all right.
Not only was it something that came up during the process, it became a very important song because it became the title song for the album, which is Red Wheelbarrow. Red wheelbarrow by the garden fence, rumor has it much depends upon you. Your parts are worn and you twist and sway less sturdy than the day I first employed you. My blood flowed red and the sky was blue as I rode a load of roses to my true love. Happened in the early spring, well that's the thing, don't you know, it was a new love. White chicken standing in the rain, can you help me to explain this feeling? Of years that fly and paint that fades and all the shades that time has kept revealing. Who's to say just what's to come? Sometimes I think we've just begun the journey. Through moments lost and lessons learned until we reach that point of no returning. And I sit alone as I write these words, gaze out into the morning's grandeur. Red wheelbarrow in the early sun, I've only just begun to understand you.
I love that song. In the first verse, you rode roses or wrote? What was that?
I rolled a load of roses to my true love.
I was hearing that as wrote, and I was like, you wrote a load of roses. That's an interesting
That
phrase.
sounds nice too. Yeah.
It's one of those mountain phrases.
Right.
Yeah, and I don't know if folks could see before when you were talking about the wheelbarrow curve. I can hold it up there so they can get an idea of that.
Let's see if this works. Yeah, you autofocus.
I'm doing it. That again is Rogelio Calvo who painted that.
And John Shane's wife, Maria, did the layout, it looks like.
She did a wonderful job.
And
on
there's
that.
just a fabulous little book in here with, on the back page, additional wheelbarrows.
Yeah.
And just all the lyrics inside. And I love it when a record includes the lyrics, like this. It's really nice.
Oh, I could have opened that up and I would know that it was rolled a load of roses.
Wow, it's much more intriguing the way you put it.
JT, we do have time for another song. Would you mind playing another one?
I'm going to play one more. This one goes out to Rogelio because he really likes this song called Bigger on the Inside. It's inspired by Doctor Who. For those who know Doctor Who, they'll know that
TARDIS.
phrase, Bigger on the Inside. And he now plays it in Statesville on the front porch with his friends there. So I feel like I've got to play this. This is also one of those songs that in the process of working on the record, and just, having to think about the songs more just improved dramatically. Like I capoed it, shifted around where it was played, and it just started to sound like it wasn't a song I was necessarily going to include originally, and it became one pretty quickly. So this is called Bigger on the Inside.
TARDIS, I'm tired, maybe just weary, traveling down infinite roads. My smile can't hide, I'm growing leery, making a dent in this world. 'Cause I've cried like an angel, stared to the distance, out on the edges of time. I somehow keep going against all resistance, not knowing what I will find. As I fade away into another dimension, time, space, victim of my own intention to rule the world. It's bigger on the inside. So many companions have traveled beside me, it's hard to remember them well. I dream of the worlds where they never existed, stories that I'll never tell. The rose has grown old, she was always my favorite. Always is a relative term. And I long to see her, I'd see myself trying. See clearly I never learn. As I fade away into another dimension, time and space, victim of my own intention to rule the world. It's bigger on the inside. Maybe I'm just lonely, maybe time will tell. Maybe there's somebody out there for me. And TARDIS, I'm tired, I'm growing weary, traveling down infinite roads. My smile can't hide, I'm going crazy, making a dent in this world.
Fantastic. JT Cobb, live here on Pass the Hat. You have just listened to a fantastic hour of live music and commentary and interview with JT Cobb. And you can catch this show archived on our website, WHUPFM.org. Scroll down to shows, scroll down to Pass the Hat, and you can find this show right at the top and all of other previous shows out there waiting for you.
And go out there on YouTube and look up WHUP Pass the Hat, and you can see the video.
Absolutely. And get out to jtcobb.com, buy all the merch, and get out to EnoHouseArtistDen.com, and you can buy tickets to the Eno House show on June 8th with JT, John Shane, F.J. Ventry, Robert Cantrell, and I'll be in the audience.
Yikes.
So I shouldn't have said that. No one will show up now.
What a band.
It's going to be a great band. It's going to be a great show. Eno House is fantastic. The folks on stage are going to be fantastic. Y'all get out there and buy the tickets now before they run out. And we've reached a point of the show where we end the live stream, but we do not go away. We still got another half hour of a show. We're going to be playing a playlist that JT brought in for us. So you can keep listening you can find us on the TuneIn app, WHUP FM, or you can just be listening to FM 104.7 if you're here in Hillsboro, or you can go to our website, WHUPFM.org, and just click the play button or the live button, whichever one it is, and whatever happens to be being broadcast right then, you can listen. And but you can't watch the live stream anymore after JT waves goodbye. Bye, y'all.